Hey guys, thanks for subscribing to Bonsai Mirai on YouTube. If you like this video, we have a ton more like it on Mirai Live, including weekly live streams, species and technique features, and weekly live Q&As with Ryan Neal. Start your free trial today at live.bonsaimirai.com.
We're dealing today with the cupressus macrocarpa, which is a fancy way of saying a Monterey Cypress, one of the very unique species of the Pacific coastline in North America. This tree has been a bonsai for almost 40 years, collected off of the coast of California. And now it's time to go back into its root system, deal with all of the things that we typically see in a repotting process, and learn the nuances of how we continue to perpetuate this Monterey Cypress, or any bonsai for that matter, via the methodology of repotting and regeneration of the soil and root system. Hope you enjoy. The Monterey Cypress is beautiful, but I think it has more interest to give us. I'm going to use some wood blocks to change the angle and just play with, can we make this tree a little bit more appealing? So we started playing with the notion that if we rotate slightly to the left, okay, we start to pick up this swoop of this very major portion of this side of the trunk, okay? Now when we do that, we also started saying, man, this side is very, very vertical. Can we go ahead and just add a little bit of angularity to that side, push the tree to the left to some degree? And once we started doing that, we noticed that the branching in the upper portion of the tree starts to cross over and we don't see as much clarity in that branching. So then we started saying, okay, well what if we just come forward with that and start to really unveil some of that branching? We see more of this very characteristic low branch here. We see more of these lines in the upper canopy here. And I think it's from this perspective that we started to recognize the real value of this material exists. Now that we've determined the final planting angle, we can start the repotting process by freeing up the root mass from the edges of the container. When we're using a comma, we are scraping and displacing that soil out of the container to create space between the root mass and the edge of this container. Now that we've freed the tree from the edges of the container, we need to free it from the bottom of the container by cutting the old tie-down wires on the bottom of the pot. So I'm going to find a nice solid point here where I'm not exerting force that's going to damage the branch. I'm going to be holding the container, finding that force, and I'm going to push and pull with the same amount of force, being aware of my entire system here. Ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I'm going to continue that leverage, and I'm just going to separate the two from each other until I have the space to now reach under that root mass and grab that root ball. Okay, I'm going to keep going here. Okay. Good. Okay, hold for a sec. Mm-hmm. Over the course of time in the bonsai container, organic debris starts to accumulate and hide the really thick surface roots that show that stability and give rise to character. We use our chopstick to tease away the accumulated roots, the decomposing organic matter, and any moss that has started to cover those surface roots and that point of visual stability. Working with real sensitivity, we don't want to disturb the bark or pull apart any of the aged pieces that could potentially contribute, and we're looking for any information that we can take in about exposing the nebari. As we're taking this root mass down, I'm finding bigger and bigger structural roots lower than the actual surface of the soil. I don't want to continue to auger out this big hole right here. I want to continue taking the height of that root mass down so that as I find more and more rootage, I'm continuing to adjust and adapt the top surface layer of my soil mass so that I get that height established, and that starts to become my reference for what I do to the rest of the surface of the soil. Now that we've exposed the root mass and we see, and this is exactly what I had hoped when I loaded this tree up in the trailer down in California, I saw that black mass around the base and I thought there's no way this doesn't have a better nebari. Now we've just uncovered a whole nother, I would say, 10, 15, maybe even 20% of the depth of the container is now root mass here in nebari. You can see where it was covered to, you can see where we've brought it down to. That is significant in the aesthetic of the tree. So now that we know and we see that depth, we have containers that are potentially going to work for this tree, we're going to change the angle. Troy's going to lean it back, and I'm going to establish my new planting angle on the bottom of this root mass. I like to give myself a nice line across here just as a reference for how I achieve that angle. We've got to be thinking about that inclination forward as well as that tipping up on the right side of the root mass. I'm just going to give myself a nice little impression here so I know how to take that off flat on both sides of the root mass that I'm working. This backside is going to stay untouched as we change that angle. In a bonsai container, cultivation leads to the accumulation of a large amount of roots on the bottom of the container that form a very dense mat. Oxygen can't get through this mat, water can't get out of this mat. And our first step in the repotting process, after we've removed the tree from the container, is to remove this mat so we regain the capacity for water to penetrate the root system and oxygen to enter the root system.
And that thick, coarse rock on the bottom is just rigid as all get out.
Now we're going to come back and we're going to focus on these lines that we gave ourselves. And I want to make sure in this reduction on an established root mass like this that I don't go too far too quick, because we are taking off a fairly significant amount of root mass. What if there's a big thick structural root here and we don't have the ability to reduce it? So I'm still going to be conservative, working from the bottom up to that depth that I'm striving for, and I'm going to keep that continual, consistent angle, trying to work that pad so that all of these pieces get pulled back up at the same pace together. Whether a tree comes out of the natural environment or out of a nursery container, that dense soil that keeps a tree alive in nature or in the nursery environment is a little bit too fine and holds too much water for the bonsai container environment. We like to change that soil over in the root mass over the course of time because we cannot do it all at once. And so here you see still some of that presence of that dense, fine native soil, which doesn't allow oxygen in, doesn't readily allow water to move through the system, and we're going to take that out and replace it with a soil that does. There is a dramatic difference in this blackened area and this akadama area for the fine roots versus the coarser roots. That's a direct discussion of akadama as a component that does facilitate finer, fleshier, more efficient water and nutrient uptaking roots. And you see the coarseness of this, that's a direct reflection of that organic decomposing soil, not facilitating that finest level of root growth. In order to fill the pockets where we removed the native soil, we're going to make holes that allow us to insert soil from the surface of the tree. Pounding bamboo chopsticks in and enlarging the hole for soil to penetrate into the core is a must to be able to fill all of the spaces that we've created. Okay, so I came out right on the top. Not going to be super friendly to work with. As we tease away the soil off of the bottom of the root pad, we do damage to some of those finer roots, and we also have too much of an accumulation of root mass that we need to prune to allow the tree to regenerate a new, fresh, water-conductive root mass. This is in no way dangerous to the tree because we still have a solid root ball and in fact helps reinvigorate the tree's root system that takes in water and nutrition. When we change the angle of a tree, we do that by addressing the contour on the bottom of the root mass. However, we also have to look to the surface of the root mass to make it appear as if the tree has always grown at that angle. Oftentimes, adjusting the height of one side of the root mass allows us to create that natural inclination and merge that new aesthetic with the current root system of the tree. Okay. Now we can see when I touch that, see how it catches like that? I'm going to break up that mat. There's still a little bit of an impediment to water permeation there. Now we have a very thin root mass right now, so that's just to break up that top mat so that we get now all of a sudden when I move through it, see how my chopstick doesn't hang up anymore? That starts to be the kind of consistency that we're looking for. Now we haven't done the sides yet. We're holding on the sides because we haven't decided which pot to put this tree in. The pot's going to determine the shape of the sides of our root mass. So we're holding back on that. Bonsai is an art form that's quantified by a tree in a tray. The container is 50% of the composition. We think about the container shape, the container color, and the container size to be able to create a healthy tree while also creating an aesthetically beautiful tree. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and let me square the oval up. How's that? The oval container, although slightly small, was still the widest of all three of these containers. With the vertical height of this Monterey Cypress, that width allows us to accomplish a beautiful aesthetic and creates an environment in which this tree will thrive. Now I've taken off this corner, just rounded it off to fit into the oval. I'm just gonna break up, you can see this mat, and again, that abscission layer of that really smooth mat. Roots will not move into new soil. I come in and I break that up, just break that up and expose those root tips into fresh air, into sort of unoccupied soil mass. In order to create ample space around the entire root mass for fresh soil to be inserted, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna reduce that outer edge, contour it to fit inside the new container, and create that space for our new soil. Let's just clean up any roots that are hanging out that are super long, come back in, go ahead and hit those, and now we've created that beautiful system. Beautiful, beautiful system. To set up the soil system for healthy cultivation, we first put down a layer of aeration to allow oxygen into the container. We top that with an interior layer that cultivates fine roots, and then we put a central cone of that fine interior soil to fill in all of the pockets on the bottom of the root mass that we've opened up through the repotting process. Okay, and perfect, perfect. Okay, towards me. You got container, my tree.
Okay.
Let's take a look at that. Bulk fill is the operation using a chopstick to insert soil into the large negative spaces that exist. Our biggest priority in tying a tree into a bonsai container is making sure that the tree cannot move. The methodology that we utilize to execute this concept is hammering in bamboo stakes and tying down to those bamboo stakes with wire. It's the most direct application of force across the shortest possible distance to secure the tree in the container. Detailed chopsticking is the operation of coming back after the bulk fill and now using a smaller chopstick to insert soil into those finer negative spaces. A good contact of soil and root is what allows the tree to thrive, and we're using detailed chopsticking to finalize that contact and fill every space that still exists.
There's a little bit of a cusp right here, just where it tucks in. I just don't want to leave it gaping open.
Once we've filled all of the negative space and the holes around the exterior portion of the root mass, we now go back to the center and utilize the holes we created initially to add soil to those pockets on the underside of the root mass that still exist. After going through all of the effort to change the tree's aesthetic, proficiently work the roots, find that beautiful container, and accurately integrate that soil into the root system, the final step is contouring that surface soil to finish off the aesthetic and give ourselves 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch of rim around the container so that water hits that rim and enters the container as opposed to escaping. This is a paramount step in the repotting process, aesthetically as well as functionally. If we're ever concerned that soil might wash away when we water our tree, we can use the combination of wet sphagnum and soil to create a barrier that holds the soil in place and doesn't allow the water to wash away all of the contouring we've done. To further stabilize our soil and to finish off our repot with a beautiful aesthetic, we apply a thin layer of top dressing, which is a mixture of ground sphagnum and collected green moss. This will solidify the soil environment, hold moisture in the surface to allow root growth, and it will eventually lead to the cultivation of a nice fine green mossy covering. Okay, now it's the time to flush this, thoroughly water it, rehydrate the tree, and we want to be doing so with a copious quantity of water, not washing away all the work that we've done, but getting all of those fines washed through. We fill the column up, we see that just start to float, we pull the water back and let it flush. We fill that up again, we let it flush. We fill it up again, let it flush. We don't wash away the top dressing, we don't mess up the contour of the soil we work so hard for, so our watering afterwards is just as crafted as every other action that we take in this repotting. By following the process of the fundamental repot, we've reinvigorated the cypress's root system. We've established a more beautiful aesthetic, and we've created a very bright future for this historic tree. If you like what you've seen here, visit live.bonsaimirai.com and check out more of the information. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos such as this, And continue to follow Bonsai Mirai on our social platforms to see all of the work that we're doing. Good luck, have fun, and we'll catch you next time.